All right, guys, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining me on this lovely Sunday afternoon for the course, How to Become a Tax Preparer. Of course, you know, I'm Samantha Person. I own and operate RNS Financial Services. This webinar is sponsored by PNP Global Network, who is a business affiliate of RNS Financial Services. I'll give you a little background information on me and my credentials. I am happily married. I've been married for 30 years to the same man. Yes, to the same man. We're happily married, and I'm looking forward to 30 more years. We have 2 children and 1 grandchild. I'm from Chicago originally, grew up in Miami, moved to Tallahassee, and now we're currently living in the Orlando area, which I love because it's not down south and it's not north. Weather is pretty good besides the rain, but it's lovely. My hobbies are reading and traveling. I love to travel, so being in the tax business virtually, it allows me to do that, to be able to travel with my family. I love reading. I always think of, as long as you're able to read or even listen to an audiobook, that learning helps you to grow. You learn new things every day, you work towards your goals, and you learning new knowledge. You're learning from someone else's experiences every day. My business, RNS Financial Services. I have other businesses, but right now we're going to talk about RNS Financial Services and how you can become a tax preparer. Like I say, I love reading, I also love learning. So I've obtained 2 degrees from Florida State University, one in human resource management and management. Did a double major while I was there. Went along and obtained other degrees. I also went to Columbia Southern University, where I later on went and got my master's degree in business administration and also public health administration. I wanted to know the health side of management because I was going to work with the health department. I love teaching as well. I mainly work with special needs kids. I do that on a part-time basis, but because of COVID, everything has been shut down and has been cut back. So that has limited my interaction with the kids, and also work with special needs adults part-time. Like I said, I enjoy traveling. So with RNS Financial Services, it has allowed me the ability to travel with my family, to spend more time with them, and to have that leeway or that freedom to pretty much do some of the things that I wanted to do that I couldn't do while I was working a 9 to 5. I worked as a correction officer in Miami. Yes, Miami. I worked as a correction officer in Tallahassee. I also worked with law enforcement with the Tallahassee Police Department for over 20 years in dispatch as a supervisor. I also did, I had so many different jobs until I got to this point. I taught at university, at the community college. I taught dispatch for high schoolers that were interested in becoming a dispatcher. So I've done a lot of things in my life to bring me to this point, to be able to share some of the knowledge and some of the experiences that I've had with you guys. So that's a little bit about me. If you have any questions, like I said before, you could type it in the chat and I will make sure to answer those questions at the end. I'll make note and I'll answer your questions at the end. Some of you have my email. You can email me any questions. I will make sure to do my best to answer those questions for you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So when you say how to become a tax preparer, we have 4 weeks to become a tax preparer. So this is our course agenda. This is our layout of what we're going to be doing for 4 weeks. Every Sunday, 6 o'clock, I would say about an hour or two, depending on how much class participation that we have. But I'm the type of person I want to give you the information, give you the facts, give you what you need, and then we'll go from there. So week 1, which is today, we're going to be getting started. Week 2, we're going to be moving forward and going on to talking about the laws and starting to actually do tax returns. Week 3, we're going to actually work on licensing. So when you finish this course, you will have your PT. Whether you want to work with me at Artist Financial Services, or you might want to do some of your own. If you have some experience in doing taxes, it just don't know. Like when I started, I was 16. I did not know that, about PTs and all that, but I still was doing taxes. So after maybe 5 or 6 years, then I knew, okay, I needed to get, this, and this to line up in order to be legit. So at the younger age, I was in business. I ain't had no license. I was just doing taxes because I like to read. I studied the laws, and I started doing taxes, doing mine, my family, my friends, and so on and so on and so on. So now I have hundreds of clients. However, I had to get in business in order to get these clients. I had to get a P10, I had to get an EFIN, I had to get an EIN, I had to get city license, county license, state license. So it is a lot when you want to do it yourself and be in business. However, with RNS Financial Services, if you come on aboard with us, the only thing you need is your P10, and I'll go over more information and training that you will need later in the video. So the licensing, you will have your P10, guaranteed. Whether you come work with us, RNS Financial Services, or someone else, or you just want to keep it and put it on your wall, you'll have it. Week 4, let's start making money. We'll do our wrap it up. We'll do our taxes, a simple tax form that you should be able to know how to do by week 4. That will be our agenda. Woo. Now, taxes. Nobody likes to hear the word taxes. When you ask somebody about taxes, they're like, they start cringing. Oh, I got to do my taxes. But if you, the preparer, make it more easier, more loving, if you can do that, that's where you become the difference between a preparer and a good preparer. When it comes to tax season, my clients already know. I send them out in October. I send them a list of things that's changed, that's happening. So they already know, they're already prepared for tax season. I already tell them, these are the dates. If you send me this is when you get your refund. Send me your information by the end of December. And all we waiting on is the W-2s or whatever other, tax documents they may have, depending on how many tax documents they have. So I created an acronym, LOVE. So when people say taxes, I'm like, hey, I give them, calm down. I think to myself, okay, give them that love, give them that tax love. So with love, the L is for life, because you're going to have taxes all your life. It's something that you cannot get rid of. Even if you don't work, if you're making a little money, you still have to file taxes. If you don't work, some people file an informational tax return. So it's different types of tax returns. So most adults are gonna have taxes all their life. Opportunities. Think of the opportunities. The opportunities that taxes allow, especially for the people that's getting refunds. they get more opportunities. Some people, I've gotten people $15,000, $20,000 refunds. So think about the opportunity. So I tell my people, you know, what are you working for? What is this refund for? So when they start thinking of that, then they want to find all the receipts. They want to help me out because that's an opportunity for them. But it's also an opportunity for me. It's an opportunity for the tax preparer. It's an opportunity for Earnest Financial to make money. So I think of the love in that way too, in value. The opportunities that you provide for them, it adds value to their life, and of course, it adds value to your life. So when you think about it, you know, you think about instead of cringing, oh, okay, so I get opportunities, I can do more with this money. Okay, you know, I can get value by her researching and doing what she needs to do. So I add value to them and entrepreneurship. For us, it's entrepreneurship. Even if you come work for me, you still will be filing as an entrepreneur because you're going to be filing your taxes independent. With other people, they might want to become entrepreneurs. And this all they need is a little bit of help, a little financial guidance to become an entrepreneur. And that's what you're providing. You might not be able to know all the business structures, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but you know, if you provide them with a little capital, a little extra money, they can go out there and start a business and not a business. So think about that. When you're doing your taxes or someone else's taxes, think about love. And then you'll be like, oh, woosah, we could do this. We gonna do this. So that's my acronym. That's what I think about when I think about taxes. I start getting excited because I'm going to get some money or I'm going to help my clients. I've had some challenging clients that really challenged me, which I love that. So that's what I think about. And you can make up your own acronym, whatever happy word that you associate with taxes for your clients, they will definitely appreciate it. So for this week, what we're going to talk about is getting started, becoming a tax preparer, different business structures, licenses that you may need, well, one for sure that you will need, and others that you can also obtain, equipment and supplies that you will need, whether you're going to do it from home or whether you do it at a center. And then we'll go over a little bit about next week's agenda. So getting started, first thing you must think about is, what is your purpose for getting started? What do you hope to achieve by becoming a tax preparer? Is it money? Is it family? Is it helping others? Is it free time? So you may have other reasons for wanting to become a tax preparer, but those are mainly the 4 reasons that people think about becoming a tax preparer. So when you think about money, everybody loves money. Everybody wants money. The Bible says money is the root of all evil, but you know, I'd rather try it. And I think with that is saying it depends on what you do with your money and how you plan to use your money. So do what you want with your money. Yeah, you can have it. If you become a tax preparer, taxes, you could do taxes for 3 months, or you can do taxes, some type of taxes throughout the whole year, and eventually make up to thousands, $100,000, and be okay. Do you want to leave a legacy for your family? For me, money, I want money to be able to do what I need to do with it, and of course to save some. But for me, it's to leaving a legacy for my family. Because I came from, like I say, Chicago, projects, so that wasn't a part of our history. But for me, I want to make it a part of my history for my granddaughter, that when I'm dead and gone, RNS Financial Services will still be living, and she will be financially set, that she won't have to work a 9 to 5, but she will be able to teach others and be able to run RNS Financial Services. So that's one of my main purposes. Another purpose for me is helping others. Helping someone, it's a joy to me when we go up against the IRS and my client wins. I've had a client, he was a truck driver, and he got a letter from the IRS saying that he owed $18,000. He all upset because he let his friend or somebody do his taxes, and so he brought me the letter, all information, and once we finished everything with the deductions, credits, and all that, he only owed him $1,500. This was a grown man that actually sat in my office and cried because if you ever had any dealings with the IRS, first of all, you're scared because you don't know. But then when you have somebody that has experience and, it's just another piece of paper. Okay, let's go through it, work it out. Okay, done. And now he's a client for life. And now I actually have one of his kids as a client. So it just continues to grow. So that's my thing, is helping people to understand that there are other options besides just giving up. Find somebody. It could be you. It was me that knew the tax laws, that knew, the ins and outs, IRS, because I've had other issues and stuff that I had to deal with them. So, and then letting them know, oh, well, if we can't get it, taken care of, there are other options. You don't have to pay $18,000 at one time. So that's my joy with people that don't understand, tax laws and all that stuff. I'm not an expert in tax laws. I'm not a tax law lawyer, but I love to read, and I've been doing taxes for a good little while. So I think I have a little bit more advanced knowledge than the average tax person. And free time. I already told y'all I like to travel. So your girl enjoys her free time. Next time, I might be doing a video on the beach. I might be doing a video in Vegas, but I'm still taking care of business. So what is your purpose? What is your purpose? That's what you have to determine before you decide to go into any business, not just becoming a tax preparer, before you decide to do any business. All right, so let's get started on this financial journey. So we all know taxes are forever. No matter when, where, how, taxes started way before we was born, before we was even thought about, and taxes gonna be here way after we're gone, because the government, Uncle Sam, want his money. Uncle Sam need his money, and definitely, as we see from the COVID, all the money that Uncle Sam been collecting from us over the years and years, decades, whatever, that's where it's been. So taxes are gonna be here forever. Almost everyone must file taxes. If you made over $600, then you're supposed to file taxes. If you're senior, I have seniors that didn't know because they retired. They didn't know that they had to file taxes on their retirement. Yeah, if they taking out taxes, then you need to file it. Got one client that I'm working with now that didn't think they needed to pay taxes when they got their retirement money. Now, actually last week, he got a letter from the IRS saying he owed $8,000, and he don't know why. So I'm working with, so this is what I'm saying about being a tax preparer. It could be a full-time job throughout the year. It depends on what you want to do and how far you want to make it and how much money you want to make. Saying that is recession proof. Because we're going through the COVID, nobody working, and that. I'm quite sure many people are going to have their W-2s waiting to file. They're going to be at the door waiting to file. And this is why we are giving out this knowledge. This is why we are looking for tax preparers to come work with us, because this tax season probably is going to be a little bit more busier than previous tax seasons because people really don't have money. So they're trying to get their taxes done as soon as possible so they can get a refund so that they could pay their bills or do whatever it is that they need to do with their money. Everybody knows. Even elementary school student would be able to tell you, is there money in taxes? And they'll be able to, yes. When my mommy get her tax return, we go do this, we go do that, or whatever the case. So the tax industry is literally $1 billion industry. It's money, different ways of doing taxes. We're going to talk about all that a little later. But it is a $1 billion industry. It just depends on what you want to do and how much you want to do. So, hold on a second. You want to become a tax preparer. Like I say, the first thing that you're going to need, and this is the basic requirement. When I say basic, that's like the beginning requirement is P10. So according to the IRS, any tax professional with an IRS prepared tax identification number, that's the P10, is authorized to prepare federal tax returns. However, tax professionals have differing levels of skills, education, and expertise. Now, when they say, the IRS says that you are authorized to prepare federal tax returns, that means that you can charge people to do their taxes. Now, if you are doing taxes or you want to do taxes and you don't have a P10 and something goes wrong, then it could be bad for you, for the person who taxes that you're doing. This is just like the basic requirements from the IRS in order for you to prepare somebody's taxes. Research. I cannot stress how important it is for you to do research before, during, and even after you become a tax preparer, because research makes you a good tax preparer. You have a tax preparer and you have a good tax preparer, and you want to be able to help your clients with this knowledge. And also it helps increase your pockets. It helps increase your money. So by you doing your research and your due diligence and learn about the tax laws, the changes, and letting them know about any changes, it helps to increase your confidence. It helps to increase their confidence in you, and it helps to increase your pockets. And also it helps them as well. Read about taxes, explore the IRS website, do webinars like this one, decide what type of taxes you want to complete. There's different types. We're going to talk about that. So reading about taxes is essential to being a good preparer. Like I say, your clients expect you to know the latest tax laws. They expect you to go that extra mile so that they know that you know what you know. They don't want you just feeding them something random information that's, oh, I'm a tax preparer, so yeah, you can file anybody in your family. It doesn't matter, you know. That's just a tax preparer. But a good tax preparer will come to them and say, yes, you can claim XYZ, but you're not going to get the earned income credit if they're over, 16, or you're not going to get the child tax credit for this. So if you come with that knowledge, then that makes them think, oh, okay, well, Samantha knows what she's talking about. Hey, you might come over and talk to my tax lady because she told me ABC, and so you just want to make sure that you're up to date on the latest laws. Familiarize yourself with federal, state, as well as local tax laws. So each I don't know if you guys can see this, but each state, federal is federal. That's the government. That's the United States. So those laws would be the same across the board. But then when you start going down, you got state laws like Florida. Florida laws are different from Illinois. So you have to know if you're going to specialize like Florida. This is what I know. Illinois, I've done taxes for people in Illinois. I've done taxes for people in Minnesota. So it's in California. So it's depend on where you're doing your taxes, then you got to be familiar with those laws. It just depends on, like I say, how much you want to make and how, how broad you want to be with being a taxpayer. Then you got your local. Orlando taxes may be a little different than Tallahassee as far as how much people pay in the taxes and what this area does and what this one, it may be a little different. So it's just, I have to brush up on those. And once you get started and you get in these little groups, then you will get, you get the information and you'll be ready. I research all year, but I really start buckling down in October. I do it in October because that's kind of like the end of the, quarter for businesses, government. So a lot of changes go in effect in October. So I want to be prepared because you got October, then you got November, you got veterans, you got Thanksgiving break, then you got December. And that's when really tax season starts in December, when people get their last paycheck stubs or close to the last paycheck stubs, and they want to try to see if you give them an estimate, or they start sending you all their documents. So when January hit, all you got to do is hit the button and the process starts. So I start in October so that I could be up to date on the most recent laws for the IRS, my state, and it's also in my surrounding county. And the software, you have to get your software and know what the regulations and rules are. It's a lot that you need to prepare for when you are becoming a tax preparer. Now, working with R&S Financial, you don't really have to be prepared that much because you basically need your P10 and we assist you with that. Laws, I'm going to go over some laws. I'm going to go over the basic, simple tax return and also tax software. So we already have software. We already have insurance. We already have a lot of things in place. All we need is the help and the assistance from other preparers when the tax season starts. So becoming a tax preparer. When you're exploring the IRS website, it keeps you current on new publications. So, go back. Okay, there we go. Now, when you explore the website, they have information about your rights as a tax preparer. Now, people think, oh my God, it's so much, but it's just a 2-page document. And all this is, the bottom is just extra reading so that to kind of break down more about your rights. So you got 10 rights and you need to know this. So if people come to you with, different things, or, oh, she did this and it wasn't right, you have it. You have it. So it's very important that you go to your IRS website and familiarize yourself with the information. So irs.gov, you can Google it. And once you Google it, up here in this corner, most people know when they go and Google and look at, all they want to look at is, where's my refund? That's it. Where's my refund? But as a tax preparer, you are going to go further. So they have a section here for tax pros, give you information. When we get ready to do our P10, if you are technically inclined and computer savvy, if you want to attempt it, you can attempt it. But we're going to work on making sure that everyone has a P10 by week 3. So you can look around and just view. It's a whole bunch of information, and some of them is videos. So don't be afraid to just look around on the IRS website. The website won't bite. Now, meeting someone in person, that's a little different. So when you go to the website, like I say, look around and see there's different laws. That's how I keep up with the laws. I go to the website. That's kind of like easy reading for me. My husband's like, "What are you doing? It's not even tax season." Well, I tell them I have to start before my clients start because I need to know what's going on before they ask me. So that review the IRS publication 1, that's homework for you. That's something you could print it out while you at work or while you sitting looking at a movie in between commercial breaks. It's just something that you could look over. And you also have the site there that you could continue to surf and look for different information. Doing webinars like this one. When you take the time and do and learn about something that you're really interested in, you really value that. You really value it. If it's something that, you look at it for a minute and then you walk away from it, then you're really not interested in that. So viewing webinars that provide you with that extra knowledge so that you could be a good tax preparer. You can find them on YouTube, Facebook. Most webinars are free or they cost a little nothing. Like mine, it was less than $50, but the knowledge that you will gain will be priceless. This knowledge, once you become a tax preparer, you do one tax return, and you will get your money back in threefold. So make sure that any webinar, and I'm not just saying mine because, hey, I'm who I am on this financial services, but any webinar, even if it's one that you don't think is so good, take the knowledge. Take what you need and leave the rest. Leave the rest. Oh, the lighting was bad. Okay, that's not important anyway. What's important is the information that they're giving you. Take it and do what you feel you need to do so that you could make up to that $100,000. So any webinar, YouTube, Facebook, Eventbrite. I even went to Eventbrite and go to free webinars. Anything that has to do with taxes, anything that has to do with my profession. I am not by any means perfect or the super duper expert. I can learn something from anybody as long as you're willing to learn and move forward. So when you do like I say, the webinars, then you have to decide what type of taxes do you want to do. And that was hard for me because I was stuck in just doing individual taxes. Because corporations, they have all these entities, they have all these partners, you have to break it down, you got to do this. I was making all these excuses not to move forward. I was stuck. So in the beginning, I did a lot of just individual taxes. So once you move forward and decide what it is that you want to do, what type of taxes you want to do. So you have your individual taxes. And with your individual taxes, that's where you have students, you have your seniors, you have your income earners that earn, child tax credits or excuse me, child tax credits or uh, earned income credit. Then you could do industry specific. Me, I do individuals, I do industry specific, I do business, but I've been doing taxes for 20 years. So I should have advanced into some of these other tax categories. But you can decide, everybody does individual. So that's a dime a dozen, individual. But when you start going industry specific, like say you work in the nursing industry, nurses have different needs or different deductions or different credits than say a teacher would have. So if you master that, if that's what you want to do, you do individual, but you target nurses or you target law enforcement or you target teachers or you target truck drivers, especially truck drivers, because they're when I opened up to truck drivers, that was a whole new world. I started doing truck drivers 5 years ago. So I have 3 truck driver clients now. But the first one, I was like, I'm not doing this because they have deductions and mileage and they have oil and it's a lot. But if you charge accordingly, it's worth your while. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on, pricing and charges and fees and how should you charge and how much should you charge. So then you have businesses. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, well, my business didn't make that much money. But once I saw how I was able to get the money on the other end, then I realized I didn't charge enough because it is a lot of work. If you have a sole proprietor, it's a little easier because it's basically Schedule C. It transfers to their personal taxes. So that's a little bit easier. But when you get into partnerships and corporations and you got to do forms 1065s and 1120s and then you got to put all this in different areas and then you got to separate it and you got to provide one for this person and one for that person. So for example, I have a business that's a corporation and they have 4 partners. So I do the corporation taxes. So when I do the corporation, I have to separate it into forms, whatever percentage each partner has. Now, the one person I also do they individual taxes. So when I do the corporation, this first person who's the president, I do they individual taxes too. So I just attach it to attach that K1 to their individual taxes. Now these other 3 people, I have to mail them their K1. So that's extra work. So who gonna pay for that? Corporation need to pay for that. I had to put it in an envelope. I gotta mail it to them, make sure they get it at a specific date. That's a part of the tax laws. So you have to decide what you want to do. If you're just starting out with RNS Financial Services, we'll just be doing individual. You'll just be doing individuals. If you have some tax experience, then we could see about, doing like the Schedule C. But I have to really, because this is my business, so I have to really train and prepare my preparers on the proper way to do corporations and partnerships. So you just have to decide on, what type of taxes you want to do. It's all up to you what you want to do. So we're gonna go into business structures, talking about the last part. You have corporations, limited liability companies, partnerships, and the sole proprietorship. So we talked a little bit about each one, and I'm just gonna go over it in a little detail as far as taxes go with the different business structures. So corporation is independent. has its own legal structure. That's why I say when I do corporation taxes, you have to separate it for each one get their own, and then it's that business corporation. So it's legal, it's not with the individual taxes. The limited liability company is similar to the corporation. Only difference is they don't hold stockholder meetings. So it's the same thing as far as the tax structure, but they don't have meetings when it comes to looking at it from the IRS point of view. Partnerships, we know partners, mainly two people, but for business purposes, a partnership is considered two or more people. So with a partnership, that's when you're going to do your 1065, and it's separated by how many partners. So like a partnership, you have 10 partners. That's more work for the tax preparer. That means the partnership's going to have to pay more money. Some people charge a flat rate. Some people charge by partner. So it just depends on what you want to do and how you want to charge. But for us, we charge a flat rate. And then the sole proprietor is one person. So that's the Schedule C. They bring in what they've done. It's mainly how much money they made, whatever deductions they have, which normally is small deductions, advertising, food, travel, and you deduct it and then slap it in with their return, and that's considered as one. So business structures, how they're taxed. We talked about it a little bit. So corporations are taxed separately. So you know how when you do your taxes and you get that refund over here, the corporation may have to pay because it's separate. So when you're thinking about a corporation and going that route, you got to think about the tax structure as well. People just think, oh, I want to be a corporation. I want to be an owner, this and that. But that's where being a good tax preparer, because I've had people to come to me about their business structure. So that's why I'm giving you a little bit of information about that. So if they come, corporation is separate, it's taxed separate, and this is how much I'm going to charge you if you have a corporation. The limited liability, same thing, it's taxed separate. But the only difference, the business structure is they don't have stockholder meetings. A partnership is divided between partners. So if it's 10 partners and they want to pay separately, then they pay separately. But for Earnest Financial, we just charge the one flat price, and then they can decide how they're going to pay their tax bill. And a sole proprietor, that's one owner. The owner pays the taxes. It transfers over to the owner. So if they get a refund, then it'll go over there. If they have to pay taxes, then it'll be deducted from their refund. Now when we talk about license and certifications, the first license that you will need is that PTN. I cannot stress it enough. You will need a PTN. Then we'll start going into IRS training, the taxware, like I told you, the tax software, there's specific training for that. And then for bank products, if you're not familiar with bank products, bank products are mainly when people go to get their taxes done and they want to get in advance. That's what a bank product is. Basically, they want a loan on their refund. So you have to have special training for that, and you have to get certification from whatever bank that you're using or that your company is using. So PTN, you have to have that, IRS training, tax software, and bank products. So Earnest Financial Services will help you with all of that. The PTN, the IRS training, the tax software training, as well as the bank product training. So our company already has these things in place. So once you come aboard with us, when tax season starts, you're going to hit the ground running. And you'll know what to do, how to do it, and then we're here as support Some people have emailed me, all throughout the night. So we have support. We have tech support on standby, and we also have that constant communication. And the equipment. The equipment that you will need is very essential to you being a good tax preparer. Now, this is whether you're going to be doing it virtually from home or working with us in the center. So you must have computer, whether desktop or laptop. You must have a good regular computer. You can get for $300-400. That's going to be able to hold the software. When they upload, it's going to have enough memory to hold the software. We have computers here at the center for those of you that will join us and be physically working in the center. We are practicing social distancing, so normally we would hire between 20 and 30 preparers, but this year, because of social distancing, we'll have between 10 and 20 preparers working with us in office. And then we have preparers that work virtually as well. So we have computers, we have desktop computers, we have, of course, the internet connection, we have the printers, the desk and chairs. I know people like, you don't believe I said desk and chairs. Yes, because people will, it's like, well, you didn't tell me I need a desk, or, I have this fold-up chair. The fold-up chair is not going to work. You need a chair that's going to be comfortable like this, because you're going to be sitting. You're going to be sitting because tax time you'll get up and move around, but majority of the time you at the computer talking to your clients. Whether it's going to be talking to them through TeamViewer or Zoom or over the phone, people fax. So, and tax software. We have the tax software, but there's hundreds of different types of tax software. And if you are a tax preparer or you've been in the industry or whatever, you'll know that. But, I've used several throughout my experience. And so far, the one that I'm working with now is one that I like. They seem, easy. I always have support on standby. And I haven't had any problems with them. And you definitely need to have pen and paper so that you will be able to, take notes. And even though everything on the computer, I'm old school. So I believe in having me some paper with some notes and my pen, so that if, you might need to jot down something, you don't want to be looking around and, oh, I know I got a pen here somewhere, I got paper. No, you want to have it so you can go through it and check or whatever. So, with all that, then we have our quote of the week. Remember, we must move forward every day or repeat the same habits and make no changes towards our financial future. So by you signing up for this webinar and others like this, you're looking to your financial future. You're looking to do something different. You want to change. You want more money or more time or leave a legacy. So you decide this day, Sunday, at 6 p.m., I'm going to spend time with Samantha and RNS Financial Services to learn what she knows so that you can be a good preparer. So that you, when you step out January the 1st, you'll know what I know. You won't know it to the level that I know, because this is hard sweat and nights and studying and testing, but you will be prepared to do a simple tax return and maybe even a sole proprietor tax return. But by you purchasing this webinar, it will allow you to have access to this video and all future videos and other videos that we're doing, because we'll do separate videos just for deductions, because that's deductions. You have I don't know if you see this, but you have deductions for businesses, you have deductions for individuals, you have deductions for people that itemize, you have deductions for people that own property. So it's deductions is a whole webinar by itself. And that's what I want to do. I want to provide you with not just the basic information, but I want to provide you with specific information so that you can be a good tax preparer. So you'll know the basic deductions, and you'll also know some of the little tricks. I mean, that'll be something later to be able to explain to you certain things that you can do to get your client more money, or certain things that you can do that even though you can't get them as much money, but you're doing it legally and you're being able to assist them with any IRS issues. So that was our quote. Now, sneak peek into next week. Next week, we will be moving forward and doing simple tax returns. We're going to be working on simple tax laws, learning about the earned income credit, learning about the child tax credit, learning about different, federal laws. So we're going to be breaking the laws down, federal laws, state, as well as, for my area, I can give some city laws. And what type of licensing you may need. Then we're going to start. The tax return is probably going to take us about 3 segments to do a full tax return, because I want to make sure that I go over each item with you guys, because I may have some experienced tax preparers, which, when I'm going over something that you could, take a snack, take a break, or maybe you learn something new. And for those that have never done taxes before, you will be elated that somebody took the time, line by line, to go over what you need to know in order to be a good tax preparer. So that's what we're going to be working on next week. We are going to be talking about, for the simple tax laws, I told you that earned income tax credits, child tax credit, and other tax credits and laws. Then we're going to be talking about starting a return. But I can say the first part of it, we're going to be doing, just make sure you're putting in the correct information, the correct name that matches the Social Security number. And a tax preparer will just go by what somebody say. A good tax preparer will make sure that they present the Social Security card, especially if it's a new client. Make sure they have the Social Security card for them, the spouse, the children, because if the name don't match the Social Security number, the IRS will kick you back. So you done did all that work, and you submitted, and then they're going to kick it back and say, tell you, next week I have some messages that they send. This return, this name doesn't match this social. So now you got to call that client back in so that you can physically see what's on the card. When, if you did your due diligence, we're going to talk about that next week. As a tax preparer, certain things that you must do. But as a good tax preparer, you will do. So if the beginning you ask them for a copy, you just make a copy, or they can bring you a copy and their ID, so that you can make sure that you're doing your part. So later on they can come. They might come and say, oh, I didn't do this. Yes, I have a copy. So if you saying that you didn't give me authorization to do your taxes, why do I have a copy of your Social Security card, your ID, all these things. So you want to make sure as a good tax preparer that you're covering you. You must take care of yourself first. I know you want to make money. I know you want to, more clients. But down the road, if something happens, what's going to happen to you? So you have to make sure that you take care of yourself first and do your due diligence. And so I said we'll talk about that more. We're going to talk about filing statuses, single, head of household, married, all that good stuff. And we're going to talk about different types of income. People just think, oh, I just get income from working. No, there's different types. It's earned income and it's unearned income. So we're going to go over that next week. And we're also going to address any questions that I get throughout the week. I'll make sure I post them so that other people could gain the knowledge that you might be interested in. So if we don't have any questions, then we're going to sign off. And I thank you guys for your attendance. I thank you for your patience, and I look forward to seeing you next week. If you have any questions throughout the week, you guys know how to get a hold of me. You can email me at rsfinancial67@gmail.com. You can also call me at 407-802-2307. Leave a message. You can also reach out to me on Facebook. Several of you have DM'd me on Facebook. So I'm here for you. Let's enjoy this financial journey and let's keep moving. See you guys next week at 6 p.m. right here. Thank you.